welcome to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. And we're about to do some connecting right now because I put a video out. I think it was, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. It's starting to run together with me these days. I did a video recently, it's safe that way, about Lexi Hall and how she was riding the bench on her Rose Unrivaled team. And just looking through the comments, I just knew that I had to do this video because I don't know that people truly understand that there's a difference between the way men players view basketball. And when I say that, I don't mean every single man, but I mean typically there's a difference between the way professional men's basketball players approach the game and how women approach the game who are playing professionally. And I think it bleeds over to how fans view the game. And so let me break something down. I did the video. I talked about her riding the bench. Some of the comments, quite a few comments, were about how, hey, that's great. She can collect that bag and she doesn't have to play and she can make money and not worry about getting injured. And so, yeah, go Lexi. That's the best thing for you. That's cool. No problem. Again, there's a difference between women's basketball players who are playing professionally and men's basketball players who are playing professionally. So we're going to talk about the culture of women's sports because it is not about money. And actually, I can't speak for all sports. So I'm going to do a little revision and say the culture of women's basketball. I'm going to say it that way because I can't speak for every single sport. But the culture of women's basketball is not about money. There is no woman's professional basketball player in America who is playing chiefly because of money, obviously, because they don't make a lot of money. Women typically play basketball. I'm talking about ballers. They play basketball for the love of the game. So it's interesting when people and I read it and I've left a few comments, responses, and I'm like, women don't think that way. Women's basketball players don't think that way. They're not going to think, oh, great, I get to hang out in Miami. I don't have to play and I can make money. That's just not how it works. Now, things are of such a nature in men's basketball that maybe there are a significant amount of men who feel that way because they're so used to making money. They're used to being in contract negotiations about how many millions they're going to make. Women, it was never about money. They didn't get in the gym because of money. Some people went overseas, and for some, yeah, it was okay. I can go make money over there, and I'm going to get paid more than I get paid here. Because I'm not saying they don't want money. Everybody wants more money, but I'm saying they go overseas many so they can make money in the off season. But it's not money first. It's the passion for the game for most players. So I guarantee you, again, Lexi Hall is not over there in Miami. I'm not saying she's whining and complaining about her minutes. I mean, my goodness, it's only been 2 games. I don't know that she would whine or complain. I don't know. I'm just using her as an example because she was riding the pine. And for a player to be on that team, they're not thinking, I'm on the team and that's good enough. Just pay me. I don't have to make any money. Nobody wants that. You want to compete, and women especially. That's one of the reasons I always had the utmost respect for women's basketball players. Now, things have changed because I went away from the WNBA and I came back and I didn't even recognize what it used to be. There was a lot not to like. But what I had always in the past loved about women's basketball is that, and I said it many, many times, Women's basketball players don't get the accolade men's basketball players get. They don't get the respect they get. They certainly don't get the money they get, but they go out there and they play as if it was for millions of dollars because it's always been a heart thing. When you go back to the early days, when you had like your Cynthia Cooper who played in Italy for many, many years because there was no WNBA, when she left there and came back here, she wasn't making a whole lot of money. It wasn't about the money. It's like, wow, I get to play in my country. I get to play in front of American fans. I get to play in front of my mom. I get to hear people cheer for me in English, right? So when I do a video and I'm saying, man, I want to, don't do Lexi wrong. Again, not saying that's what they're doing, but it's causing people to go, okay, so what's up? Why can't she get any minutes? Just using her as an example. I'm talking about all these players across the board. The comments about, well, they can just let them just get that bag and let them just not get hurt. And that's not an athlete's mindset. I'll talk about the injury part, I think, in another video, but that's not the mindset. And that I think that's one of the reasons why I cringe at all the NIL money. Even in high school, they're starting to pay these girls, these children, going to pay them all this money, and then because I always want the game to remain something that they're passionate about because they're passionate about it. Where they don't lose that, where it's not like, oh man, we got to play that much. We don't want to play that much. A lot of the stuff you see in the men's game. Again, I'm not saying they don't want to get paid. I'm not saying that as the game grows, as the Caitlin Clark effect helps everyone, that they shouldn't get paid. Let them get paid for sure. But I'm telling you right now, for the most part, that's not why they're playing. And I'd like to keep it that way so that the culture remains that culture of enjoying and loving the game because of the game itself. And that is typically how women think. So for those who say, well, let them just collect money, I don't know that there's any competitor on the face of the earth unless they get tainted and spoiled somehow, which happens. But for the most part, there's no competitor on the face of the earth who's in it and just says, I'm here, just sit me on the bench and write me a check. Not a real athlete, not a real baller. Maybe somebody who's just in it for the money on the men's side, but for the most part, you ain't even going to see that there. Nobody trains that hard, works that hard, does all that they do just for the money. It's a passion. I mean, I think about a Kobe Bryant and the standard he set, the bar was so high. I believe Kobe Bryant's love for the game was so high that he played basketball because he loved to play basketball. He didn't get to the gym before everyone else because of the money. He didn't stay after a game because of the money. He didn't take notes on a 3-on-3 pickup basketball game and get into the gym before everybody else looking at notes of how he could have won the 3-on-3 pickup game because of the money. I don't even know if Kobe Bryant did it because of the championships, the way he worked. Yeah, he wanted to win championships, absolutely. But if there were no championship at all in the NBA, if it didn't even exist and it was just the game for that night, for that moment, Kobe Bryant would have still worked his butt off because he wanted to be the best. If no money exchanged hands, he wanted to be the best. And there are few players who have that kind of spirit. You have your Kobe Bryants, you have your Michael Jordans, you have your Caitlin Clarks, the people who have a drive that is unparalleled. And so those kinds of players are not going to say, I don't mind if you don't put me in ever, coach. I can just sit back and I can watch everybody else. I can take notes on everybody else. And then I'll take the check. I'm fine with that. That just doesn't make sense. And it definitely doesn't make sense for women because women basketball players were never playing for a whole lot of money. It's never been about money. It's always been about the game and the game itself. Whether you're in the crowd to cheer or not, whether they ever see a $1 million check or not. Now, things like Unrivaled coming along, they'll be able to make more money. Some people have gone overseas. They've been able to make more money and follow their passion. But don't try to get it twisted and ever think that any player, even over in Unrivaled, in a 3-on-3 league, is okay with just sitting. Why? Well, because I'm getting paid. That's not the culture of women's basketball. It's just not. Thank God it's not. I hope it never will be. I hope they never will become spoiled brats who just want to collect the check. I hope there'll always be people who say, "This is my craft. This is my passion. I'm going all out and put me in the game, coach." I'm just telling you. Sometimes for some people, they came into the women's basketball because of Caitlin Clark, but they had never really followed professional women's basketball. And people like me who had for a long time, but had left and came back. So some people are kind of getting the feel of the women's situation, and you're not thinking like the culture of women's basketball. It ain't about the money. Yeah, they want to make more money. Yeah, they're starting to talk about more money. That's not has not been the number one priority. So ain't nobody trying to sit on the bench and just collect a check. Not in a women's game. Not real basketball players. Maybe you'll find one out of how many ever. But where would they come from? Because the history has not been about money. It's never been that. So I hope that they maintain that integrity, play as a team, but keep that passion. So this is a rant, I guess, and just dropping a little bit of sowing a little seed, so to speak, about that culture. Because this is the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. You can let me know your thoughts. And I am intending to go live for the two Unrivaled games tonight. That is the plan. I hope you join me on the channel. We always have a good time. And last time on Saturday, I don't know if I'm doing it tonight. I kind of a spur of the moment kind of person sometimes. And I just kept inviting people, hey, who wants to get on video with me? And I think I had about 3 people who got on video, and we just chopped it up about Unrivaled, about Caitlin Clark, about whatever that had not whatever, it wasn't whatever, but as it pertained to basketball. So check us out tonight, hang out with us, have a good time, have some laughs, and I will catch you next time. Hopefully then, God willing. God bless you abundantly. Subscribe.